Taking a live look at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. All seats in the 4 U.S. House districts in Iowa will be up for grabs in November. But for the primary, we're focusing on districts 1, 3, and 4. Let's start now with District 3. Lanon Baccam is the projected winner in this race with 84% of the vote to Melissa Vine's 16%. Local 5's Dana Searles is live at Lanon Baccam's watch party in Des Moines right now. Dana, how's the mood in that room?
Well, Stephanie, this race was won by a landslide. I mean, 85% of the votes. That is a large margin of victory. And earlier today, this room behind me was filled with people with excitement cheering for Lanon Baccam when they announced that he was the winner of this district. And they were all ready to hear him speak. You could feel the energy in this room. But before hearing from Lanon Baccam, we heard from Christy Vilsack, who is the wife of Tom Vilsack, the former Iowa governor, who was one of Baccam's notable endorsements throughout his campaign. She says that Baccam will stand up for Iowans and that he has a sense of service. After she then introduced Lanon Baccam to the crowd, he took the stage with even more excitement up there. After thanking his campaign, thanking everybody in the room, donors and volunteers, the first thing that he brought up was his stance on reproductive rights. He spoke about how women in Iowa will have reproductive freedom if he were elected to office. Then he took a jab at U.S. Representative Zach Nunn, who he is trying to unseat, and spoke about his stance on reproductive rights, saying that this could be the most important election yet. But the message that Baccam continues to send throughout his campaign is that people should be judging one another on their character and not politics.
We're going to show Iowans that the connections we have to each other and the communities we build together are more important than the political disagreements we may have. I know this is possible because Iowans have done it before.
Well, you heard it right there, bringing people together. That is what Baccam plans to do in the next few months leading up to the November elections. And he's excited to hit the campaign trail once again. Local 5 will keep following that. But before we let you go, let's toss it over to Local 5's Connor O'Neill, who has been following Melissa Vine's campaign, which is Lanon Baccam's competitor in this race. Connor, what's it like out there?
Yeah, Dana, well, I can tell you that mostly everybody here at Melissa Vine's campaign watch party at the Star Bar here on Ingersoll Avenue in Des Moines, most of these people have left. There are still a few people, including Melissa Vine, that are watching the results still come in, as we just heard from you, that Lanon Baccam has won this district. Now, Melissa Vine is the executive director of The Beacon. It's a nonprofit helping women recovering from trauma. She's also been a small business owner in the past. Now, the vibe here, though, for this watch party tonight, when she wanted to run for this district, the vibe here almost flipped after the results started coming in. You could tell that people were realizing that Baccam was going to run away with this district tonight. Then Melissa Vine got to the mic. You could hear they're still cheering behind me, but then she had her concession speech. Touched on a few different things I want to mention, but I'll let you listen in here on one of the things that really stuck out in her speech.
I hope that this campaign paves the way for more women and more moms and more people who are not represented in Congress to run.
You know, Vine also touched on how she was thanking her volunteers. Some of her boys were also here helping, putting out signs and helping out her campaign the last few months here. She also said that she's going to continue to keep showing up here in the future, and she wants voters to do so in the upcoming election as well. Stephanie, back to you.
All right, Connor, thank you very much. And despite the optimism still at the party there on Melissa Vine's campaign, presumably in November, Congressman Zach Nunn will face Lanon Baccam. And Nunn was unopposed for the primary. First elected to Congress in 2022, Nunn ousted former Democrat incumbent Cindy Axne by less than a 1% margin. Before taking over the congressional seat, Nunn held a seat in the Iowa House of Representatives since 2015. He's also an Air Force combat veteran and previously worked in the White House National Security Council under former President Donald Trump. Moving on to District 4, it looks like the AP Press has called it here. We're going to take a quick look at those numbers. Incumbent Randy Feenstra projected to win this one, 59% to Kevin Virgil. Laura is jumping in now to take a closer look at those results.
Well, it looks like Randy Feenstra has secured the Republican nomination for U.S. House District 4. This is Feenstra's second congressional term. In office, he's helped push ahead legislation on restricting abortion and building a wall at the southern border. But right now, Feenstra says growing inflation is a concern among constituents. His solution: to cut back federal spending in specific government agencies.
From the EPA to the IRS to the Department of Revenue, they're their own little silos, and they continue to create rules. And when you create rules, they need more money and more spending, and just continues to go on. And we got to stop this. We got to make sure that Congress is the ones that make rules and then cut their spending.
Before assuming federal office, Feenstra was a state senator, city administrator in Hall, Sioux County, and a Sioux County treasurer. Representative Feenstra was squaring off against a political newcomer, Kevin Virgil. To recap, Virgil is a veteran and an entrepreneur. He was passionate about the border and hoped to scale back funding for several federal departments. Feenstra will go up against Ryan Melton in the general election. Melton ran unopposed for this race. He has degrees in political science and history and now works in insurance. Melton says he was prompted to run because he wants to protect public school funding and Social Security and raise the federal minimum wage. There's one more federal race we're keeping an eye on. We'll look at the latest results for U.S. House District 1 later in the show.